Hi, juniors. Sorry I can't be at school today, but I wanted to give you a recording just to walk you through our plans for today. So, we are starting to dive into joints and looking at our upcoming final product for the muscular and skeletal system. So, for today, what you're going to work on is practicing writing with a main idea or thesis in mind. So your final product for this project is a personal action plan that'll be about 6 paragraphs long. So we want to practice doing some writing that has a main overall thesis or main idea. So I want you to be in Summit in the ultimate way to get fit in checkpoint 5. So we want to get onto Summit, the ultimate way to get fit, and then checkpoint number 5. So once you're there, I want you guys to notice a couple different things here. So we've got a description for checkpoint 5. So first thing I want you to do is read through an article, and you've got a link there that you can click. For this checkpoint, you're going to choose what's called a diarthrotic joint or a freely movable joint. So like the shoulder or the elbow or the wrist or the thumb. And I want you to choose a joint that you have had pain with before, or maybe know someone else who has had pain in that joint. And you're going to focus on finding at least 2 sources that discuss what makes up this joint, the bones, ligaments, and the muscles. And then once you've explained the structures of your chosen joint, discuss how to best take care of the joint. So what muscles need to be strengthened, what are the actions that they do, what are maybe some exercises that could help strengthen that joint, and then what foods are best, and how does this support your personal health goals. So if you make a connection to your personal action plan, that's awesome. So I've got an example here in the resources that you can use. Your goal is to have at least 2 paragraphs, 3 to 5 sentences each. So the first paragraph is going to be you describing the joint, again, looking at the bones, ligaments, and muscles that make it up. And then the second paragraph should be, how do you take care of that joint best? Okay. So in the article, when you click on that little click here button, right, we just saw that, this guy here, it'll open up this article. And it just kind of goes over what is a joint and then talks about what things can go wrong in joints, particularly looking at arthritis. And then how do you keep your joints healthy? So a couple different things here. And then if you're struggling with any of the vocabulary, there are some definitions for us. So this is a good resource for you to use to help you as you're thinking through, how do I keep my joint healthy? That's going to be that second paragraph there that you're going to work on. But this is a good resource for you to go through. All right, so that's a resource that you can use. So that's one of the sources that you could use. My example here, when you click on it in the resources for everyone, is just showing you exactly those 2 paragraphs. So I chose the thumb joint, also known as the carpometacarpal joint. And I go through, and this is going to be super intense sounding, but I basically just explain what are the structures that make up that joint. So the carpal bone, the trapezium, articulates with the metacarpal of the thumb to create the carpometacarpal joint of the thumb. This joint is mostly used for grabbing hold of larger objects such as a bowl or basketball, and is frequently affected by arthritis. The CMC joint is made of 5 different ligaments, the anterior oblique ligament. Anyway, I go through all the ligaments. I note the bones. I then talk about the different muscles here, flexor pollicis longus and brevis, adductor pollicis, just all these different muscles that make up that joint and the actions that they produce. So that's paragraph number 1, bones, ligaments that make up the joint, and then the muscles and the actions they produce. So that's your very first one. Notice that I have some in-text citations here. This is an APA format with the last name of the author and then the date it was written. And then in our second paragraph, I just talk about how to support the health of that joint. So it says avoid continued use of the joint, have vitamins, here's another source for us, make sure that you're moving it, but not too much if it's hurt, right? And some different sources that I use there. Now, notice I used way more than 2 sources. So I used 3. Well, not way more. So I used 3 sources. So you'll want to do that as well. What we're practicing in this, again, is a main idea. So in this one, your main idea is focusing on a specific joint, what it's made of, and how to keep it healthy, or take care of it, right? And so you want to have also practice with in-text citations and having a little works cited. So you can do it in MLA or APA, either one, but my example here will help you with that as well. This third paragraph is just a conclusion paragraph, which you can choose to include or not, but I will not be looking for that specifically. Okay, so your goal for today is to take a look through that article, learn a little bit about joints, and then write your 2 paragraphs, the first one focusing on the structures that make up the joint, and then the third one on how to best take care of that joint. Otherwise, the rest of your class time, once you get 0.5 done, is for you to work on power focus areas or past 2 checkpoints. Hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you all next week.